Work is about going deeper than the surface, finding the very beginning of what has been holding you back and healing it at the root. In our sessions together, which I hold over Zoom, you'll be gently and compassionately guided through.
Welcome to Aligned Energy with me, Manon, a place where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. People are waking up, questioning who they are and why they're here. For high-performing women, the climb to success can leave them feeling stuck, depleted, or disconnected. But what if the answer isn't in doing more, but in aligning with your true essence? I'm Manon Deverich, and together with Dr. Pat, this show is about coming home to yourself unapologetically. Through education, ancient wisdom, and modern science, we explore energy as the foundation of healing and transformation. Join us now on Aligned Energy and step into the life you were meant to live. Aligned Energy starts now. Hello, welcome. This is Manon, and I'm here today with Kanichawa Lehman. She is my dear friend and shaman mentor, and somebody that has really been integral in changing the trajectory of my life. That's a really big statement, I know, but I have done a lot of work in these last few years, and I can tell you that the number one thing that I did was stepping into this vision quest. And so I really wanted to bring her here today to share with you what it really means to have and experience a modern day vision quest, because I think a lot of people experience this as, or think of it as, no food, no water, going out into the desert, having an epiphany up on a mountain. You know, there's a lot more to it than that, and a lot more support around that too. So thank you for being here, and I'm excited to dive in.
I am too, and thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. All right, so let's just jump right in, and why don't we start with you explaining what, in your perspective, is a modern vision quest?
Well, the modern vision quest that that I have designed and do with people is really, I call it a journey into soul. And it's a 9-month process dive in before the actual 5-day, 4-night, or 6-day, 5-night vision quest. We do a tremendous amount of inner work first, gathering energies of the soul, which a lot of times people say it's the guides and I think the term is like power animals and things like that, that support us, that actually have come to us when we come into this earth, into this reality. They come with us as helpers. And most people don't really know that. Well, maybe some people talk about their spirit guide or something, which is a truth. And so gathering energies to support us, but also being able to take journeys within and find what needs to be come forward, what needs to be healed, what is the reason why a person wants to do a process like this. And then finding that out, then I help people to discover more about who they are and why they're here, what they're here to do, in regard to one's own personal awakening, personal journey into spirit, into soul. Vision Quest is an ancient form that is not only relegated to this continent, to North America, but globally. And, stories are written. There's so many quest stories about journeying to find the gold, some journeying to find the richness or whatever it is out there, but actually it's being able to journey in here, journeying within, journeying into one's own psyche, one's own personality self, and discovering what works and what doesn't. And so it's an amazing process that that some people are really called to do, and just like yourself, to make great discoveries about life, about soul, about spirit, about self, and a deeper connection to the earth and the natural world.
Yeah. And a question that I usually get answered or asked straight away is there plant medicine involved? Can you talk about the tools that we're gathering and why we don't need plant medicine on this journey?
Plant medicine. Oh,
We're not ingesting any.
no, we're not ingesting anything.
Yeah.
It in this particular form, that isn't necessary. Spirit does the work, and so there is no plant medicine engagement in this particular vision quest.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We find other ways of access, turning that left brain off, that ego off, and
Yes,
connecting with truth.
yes, yes.
So can you take us through what the 9 months look like? If there's I know that there aren't too much, you can't dive into details, I know. But if you can maybe talk about the arc and the arc that you take the questers through, and then the culmination.
You mean like the process that
Yeah,
is?
as high level or not as you'd like, but the fact that it's 9 months is intentional.
Right. It is very intentional. Yes, it's by design, because a person comes into this process one way, one person knowing themselves in this way, and then are kind of rebirthed into knowing themselves in a very much deeper sense. And so every month there is a sweat lodge. And we use the sweat lodge ceremony to be able to step out of ordinary reality into non-ordinary reality, as it were, and unlock challenges, and being able to lay down burdens and negative energies that one person might be carrying, so that one can be clear and open and ready for what spirit has for them. And then there's a process that we do, I call the 4 steps of healing. And that is to identify what you're carrying, whether it's anger, fear, pain, grief, negative stories, just life burdens. The second is being able to express that. And the body, or the body friend, as I like to term it, has an ability to be able to express these energies vocally, movement, being able to really let it go, which in our normal daily life, we really don't have this opportunity to maybe scream or cry or yell or, pound the earth or whatever, to be able to allow the body to release energies that we've been carrying for the day or for the week or for life.
Yeah.
And the third is to be able to release that and to intentionally let it go, to cut the strings away from that bind us. And the fourth step is to refill with spirit, with love, joy, peace, abundant life, and be clear and clean and ready to generally to go on a journey. And generally the second part is to journey into spirit. And being a trained initiated shaman, I'm able to open gates in spirit, being able to take people truly out of ordinary reality into non-ordinary reality and to discover something, find something that's going to truly support them in this journey and support them in life.
Yeah. I think that's a really important thing to say and reiterate, because if other people are entering sweat lodges or even vision quests, I think it's so important that they are asking the right questions to make sure that they are with somebody that is able to put up the protections and create the space, because you are opening gates and you are inviting energies in, and there are plenty of stories that are told, certainly with plant medicine journeys, but I'm sure vision quests are the same concept. You really need to make sure, like, how can people make sure that they're choosing the right um, shaman or protectors or guides when they're in that kind of space, either in the lodge or on a quest?
Well, I think asking about a person's background, having a in-person connection to a person. I think that our intuition is part of it, being able to feel comfortable with someone, but also being a shaman as I am, there is no paperwork, there's no certificate, or so I think knowing a person's background and having an experience with that person that feels safe, that you know that wherever they're taking you, you know that there's a protection there. And let me talk about what it is to be a shaman.
Please.
So, an initiated shaman is someone who has an allied relationship with an energy of spirit. My allied relationship is in the astral planes with what my teacher called the wolf clan. And what that means is that it's not only myself that does this work, but those allied energies that are my protectors and the protectors of my people. And I'm very clear about that, because I know that some people do journey work without any protections. They don't have guides, or they don't have guardians, or someone in the spirit planes that really keeps them safe. And that's dangerous. And when I teach like journeying or anything else, I make sure that a person has a relationship with someone who is going to keep them safe on the inner worlds and the inner planes.
Yeah. I had heard before that you have to either be born into being a shaman, or there's like a life threatening or near death experience that precedes it. Is that true?
Sometimes, yes, those shamanic initiations. Now, I work with my teacher, who's a shaman, who is a very accomplished and amazing shaman. And when I met her, she could tell that this was my past. She told me, that I needed to be trained because that was my path. I was born to do this work, to be who I am in the world today. And oftentimes there's a near-death experience or some kind of experience that is one's initiation before one even works with a teacher. And I had two, so but I worked for 7 years and did 12 levels of initiations in order to be the person that I am today. and to be able to do this work and to guarantee my people's safety in the inner worlds.
Yeah. So that's so important. I'm glad we are able to cover that that piece of it. So tell me, who ends up finding you? Because you don't advertise your services.
Mhm.
And I know for a fact that there has been an uptick in interest, and you currently have 3 groups going through Vision Quest this year.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that with everything going on in the world and people needing to wake up to the truth of who they are and their power and their purpose, I know that people are naturally kind of finding you even though they didn't know they were looking for you, maybe, or being introduced to you. So I'm just curious to hear who is finding you, or maybe some stories about synchronicities.
Yes. Well, generally, people find me through word of mouth because they know somebody that's worked with me in one way or another. Um, and sometimes it's, by accident. I remember I got a phone call one day, a woman dialed the wrong number, and and she was looking for somebody else, and we got to having a conversation, and I found out that she was looking for someone to do what I do, um, and I didn't know the person that she was looking for, but I did say, well, I do this work. I do um, vision questing and plant spirit medicine and other modalities. And so she came to me and did an interview and decided to do Quest. And that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I had a delivery person one time drive into my driveway to deliver a package, and she thought I looked familiar, and we got to talking, and she asked me about a structure that's on my property that I built, where I see clients and do my work, and discovered what I did and started coming to see me and ended up doing Vision Quest. So
Yeah.
no, I think it's synchronicity. I think spirit sends people to me and they find me, which is interesting since I live off the beaten path in 10 acres of forest
Yes.
outside of,
No.
where I live. So,
I love that too, though. I feel like people end up walking in my doors and I say, "What brought you in?" And they just look puzzled, like they don't even know themselves
mhm.
why they're here.
Yeah.
They just felt like this was the time, or
Mhm.
they just
Mhm.
heard it enough times that finally now this was the right time. And
Mhm.
you just have to trust that
Mhm.
divine timing. So I know that you work with men and women.
Yeah.
It does seem to be primarily women.
Mhm.
So since our audience is primarily women, maybe you could share just some of the stories of where people are when they're coming in, and then where they are when they are coming out the other side,
Mhm.
walking out after that 5 days
Mhm.
in the woods
Yes.
alone. Changed forever.
Changed forever. Well, it's very true. It's very true. Um, oh, wow, wow. Oh, I've had women who come with deep, traumatic, memories from the past and wanting to heal, and a lot of times because of these traumatic experiences, their self-worth is very low. They're not able to function in the world as they would like to, and throughout this process, being able to lay down burdens in the lodge, but also to discover that there is a tremendous amount of help in spirit, and that they can lean into, to know that they're not alone. They've never been alone, that we all come to life with help, but also being able to start to find a different story.
Yeah.
Find a story of worth, find a story uh, of inner strength, a story of uh, knowing that we are so much stronger than we think we are. You know, the world today, I think, is one that beats us up in so many different ways. And the stories that we tell ourselves, when we start to look at different stories, when we are able to look at our own inner strength, to look at our own support, and finding, I have a client or a quester recently who came in, and every time she'd come in for a monthly session, because you get a monthly session with this practice, and she would come in, she would cry the whole time and just talk about how miserable she was and how much pain she was in all the time, psychological pain. And 7 months later, she came in with a smile on her face and saying, I know I'm worthy. I know that I'm loved. I laid down all of these stories and have found my purpose and know what I'm here to do now. And I mean, I was really surprised in so many ways. She hasn't even done Quest yet.
Yeah.
And yet, just the practices and the time spent looking into one's own support system, one's own psychology, and starting to believe that I'm here for a reason, starting to believe that I'm worthy, that I don't need someone out there to tell me that I'm okay, that I'm worthy, that I'm loved. That being able to find that self-love in one's own heart and one's own beingness. I mean, this was one of the most profound shifts I'd seen in a couple of years, actually.
We were talking earlier about how women especially have a tendency to be raised, conditioned, spoken or unspoken through our DNA or through this life to be here to serve or be in service to others, to our partner, to our employer, to our kids, to the community. And it always seems like, without it ever being blatantly expressed, we have this tiny feeling that we are putting ourselves last. And I feel like this concept of stepping into this knowing of our strength and self-worth, and that we're loved and that we're supported by a team of energies, and just that we came here for that purpose. And when you start to unfold and unpack what that purpose is, you're like, oh, I'm actually a badass. I chose to be here now in this incredibly chaotic time, the most chaotic time that the earth has ever experienced, I would say. I think that everybody, all the souls here now, are masters, or I don't know, maybe not all of them, maybe all of them, I don't know. But I've heard it said that you have to be a pretty master level soul to be signing up and living this out, living this evolution out, and helping us raise the vibration so that we can move in to the next. So I can say that that was really a powerful lesson for me to embody myself. For those of you that don't know, I stepped into Vision Quest in 2019. It was the 2019 to 2020 year. So it was a smaller group, because you could probably imagine why. Everybody was afraid to leave their house. And I had just fired everybody in my business. I had just left a
Mm.
24-year marriage, and my body was just screaming that it couldn't keep going the way that it was going, and I needed to find something different. And through this divine coming together, I met DeSono, Diane, who's your partner in these vision quests. And she was introduced to me, and we started having conversations. And she said, I think you would be perfect for this thing that we do. It starts in the fall. And at the time, I think it was in the spring. And it just planted that seed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like exactly what I need and want and crave and all those things. And I only know a little bit about what you're saying, but every part of my body is activating. So I'm pretty sure that's a big yes. And in that whole process of me not really knowing what I was stepping into, but just trusting that, the right people are showing up at the right times in your life when you need it, and starting to pay attention to the signals when your body is starting to activate that that's probably a yes, and you're feeling pulled towards it. But I felt like through my first vision quest, it was really comforting for me to know that I wasn't alone, and have that experiential knowing of it through all of the sweat lodges and through all the journey work and meeting different energies, any energies of spirit that are working on my team, and just forging that bond just gives you so much assurance that, oh, I have a knowing now that I chose to be here, and that I'm not alone, and that all of these energies are always with me. I'm never alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. And, I think particularly for women, um, I think most all the women that come to Vision Quest are searching for their own self-worth, searching for, you know, why am I here? Why am I here now? Right? What did I come here to do? And it is my belief system that we all have a purpose for being born here, that we choose to come to life when we choose to come to life. We have an idea in soul as to what has really drawn us to come to life. And then, of course, we're born and we forget it all, and are conditioned by the life that we've born ourselves into. Um, and and I think that self-esteem and worth and purpose of place and all of those things are are stripped away in living of life. And I don't. This is truly one of my soapboxes is how women are uh, conditioned um, to be nice, for one thing, the nice little girls, to not be able to truly be strong and stand in their power, to not even know what that is. That we learn how to have power in the world as men, not as woman, not as divine feminine energy. And that we really don't know how to navigate life from a space of and a stance of power and understanding and self-worth as a woman, because we're taught to be subservient. We're taught to not really know ourselves. We're under, thousands of years of subjugation and possession being owned by another. And it's hard for women in today's world to truly be able to stand in their known power. And in this quest, in this process, it's very dear to my heart that we look to the natural world to discover what real feminine power is, like Earth Mother. is divine feminine, and she is our teacher. And that's one of the things that the reason why we spend time outside, the reason why we spend time in the forest, the reason why we do our work in a place in the wilderness, so that we can truly connect and remember what this form is, what this energy that is the feminine, that is divine feminine, is in a space of power. Because we lose our ability to function in a space of true power, not about domination and control, not about power over, but about power with oneself and power with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think for yourself, you were in the corporate world and learned how to have power from that aspect. And then during Quest, you've really been able to touch that feminine power, the power of the goddess, the power of Earth Mother inside yourself, and really found your true purpose as to why you're here. You're here to help other people, to help people heal, to help people to stand in the space of strength and self-identity and self-worth.
Yeah.
Yourself. Mm-hmm.
And spoiler alert, it's nicer on the other side. In the flow and the ease and the femininity and the trusting and the reception and the magnetizing instead of the pushing and the driving and the goals and the
and the striving.
Well, we are going to take a break for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be right back to talk more about inspiring stories and our beautiful Earth Mother and whatever else wants to pop up. So if you would like to reach out to Kanichawa to learn more, how can they reach you?
They can reach me by email, which is my first name, which is KANAYCHOWA. I'm spelling it because nobody knows, at gmail.com.
Yeah, highly recommend it. She's available for any questions that you have that come up. And then also, if you are interested in taking a look at my first full day spinal flow healing immersive, it's going to be in Gig Harbor on May 31st, and you can find that at alignedenergyhealing.com/events. And I'll see you in a minute.
Are you feeling stuck, drained, or disconnected from your true self? Join Manon DeBerich and Dr. Pat on Aligned Energy, where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. Tune in every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Discover how energy awareness and alignment can help you reclaim your power, vitality, and purpose. For more information, visit alignedenergyhealing.com and start your journey today.
You're thinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
You ever feel it? That whisper just beneath the surface? A deeper part of you ready to rise? At Aligned Energy, we don't just inspire change, we embody transformation. This is where high-performing women come home to themselves.
where the masks fall away and the real you steps forward, powerful, radiant, and fully alive. This is Manon, energy alchemist, transformation coach, and best-selling author, guiding women leaders from burnout to purpose. Together, we will reconnect with your innate wisdom to clear energetic blocks and activate your eros and life force, awakening the sensual, sovereign self within. For the wild-hearted, for the ones ready to get clear, stop performing, and start becoming. This is your invitation to rise and step into your power, purpose, and possibility. Visit AlignedEnergyHealing.com to book your exploratory call or session today.
Have you ever faced a situation where you weren't quite sure how to handle it with poise, confidence, and grace? Of course you have. We all have. Well, tune in to the Change Mastery Show with me, John J. Murphy. Together, my co-host, Dr. Pat, and I will introduce you to a different way to think about change. Not as something to fear or resist, but as a gift. Join us the second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe, share, and start your journey to mastery at johnjmurphy.org.
Are you feeling stuck, drained, or disconnected from your true self? Join Manon DeBerich and Dr. Pat on Aligned Energy, where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. Tune in every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Discover how energy awareness and alignment can help you reclaim your power, vitality, and purpose. For more information, visit AlignedEnergyHealing.com and start your journey today.
Rethinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
You ever feel it? That whisper just beneath.
Have you ever
Hello, hello. Thank you for coming back with us. I'm Manon. I'm here with Kani Chawa, and we are talking vision quests and sweat lodges and personal empowerment and identity shifts and all kinds of crazy cool stuff. So, let's see. You had mentioned I had a little mental note when you said we're talking about your body friend and why you call it your body friend, and I think that's a really great place to start the second half of the show. What maybe you can just share what that means to you.
Well, we don't get to keep these bodies. We don't really own them, right? They are loaned to us from Earth Mother, actually. And yet we act as though, we do own them, like, and what I have come to is I dwell within the space of this body. It's like my vehicle that I live in, because my belief system is that consciousness is eternal. And so I'm just bopping around in this vehicle for however many years I get to be in it. And so I call it my body friend because it helps me to be kinder and gentler and more respectful of this vehicle in which I get to live in. I think, in the past, I treated my car better than I treated my body. And when I changed the way that I feel about that, the way I call it, the way I see it as my vehicle, then I started eating better and treating it better and taking good care of it. Doing body work, as it were.
Maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance, making sure that that everything is in working order and I'm putting into it what the correct fuel and treating it like it's my favorite vehicle, as it were.
That's right.
Yeah.
Optimizing it for longevity, right? Right? Because if it starts failing you,
Yeah,
you're going to be headed for an early exit
that's right.
before your soul is ready.
That's right.
Yeah. Now I use that term now too because I love it so much and for all those same reasons. And I also love that it reminds me that I am not coexisting with nature, that I am nature.
That's right.
And I think that's such a big realization to have, that we are designed to be walking barefoot on the earth, that we're connected energetically to the earth, that we're part of this mycelium network. And a lot of what I learned out on the land during Quest is to be able to connect with these earth energies. And each time that we would go out, you would give us another lesson and we would spend time, just really taking that in and thinking on it and journaling on it. And so maybe you can say a little bit more about our connection with the earth and the things that, I know that's sort of a broad question, but just summarize in one sentence all the things that you teach us about no.
Well, actually, I I had well, I had an awakening, and that is having an understanding of where life on this planet has come from, right? That, as we know, it's an evolutionary process, and life was uh, began as a single cell energy in the ocean, in Great Mother Ocean, right? And then came out of the ocean and came onto the land and evolved and evolved and evolved into all of the life forms that we have on the planet. And we are beginning as a single-celled animal, a single-celled energy in our mother's womb, which is Great Mother Ocean in a body. And so my speaking that this was gifted to us by the earth, that's where we came from. We came from the evolution of this planet into a water covered world, and life came out of that saline energy and walked upon the planet. Um, and so this body is made up of exactly what is made up of Earth Mother, of the elements, everything in here. Our bones are the stones, our flesh is the earth, our blood is the waters. And so
Our breath is the air.
our breath is the air, our heart is the fire, the electrodes that fire in our brain that give us thought is the fire. So we are all elementally exactly, this body friend is exactly the same as our Mother Earth. And so and that's why why I speak about it the way it is, the way that I do. And so this body also understands the earth and derives energy and derives health and healing from the earth. It is very important that we touch the earth, that we allow ourselves to go out and have an experience of the earth, not just camping once a year, but to be able to go out, I think, on a daily basis and remember that we're not outside of nature, that we are that. Structurally, absolutely, we are that.
Yeah.
This body friend is that. And we can't separate our consciousness from our body until we die. And so all of us, all that we are, derives healing, derives energy from the earth, from the air, from the sky, from the sun. And we really need that to be optimally healthy.
Yeah. Well, and how cool is it now that there's technology that can prove that our blood changes when we ground,
Yeah.
for example,
Mhm.
within like 10 minutes, the blood is very visibly, obviously more healthy and energized and oxygenated, and I love communing with the trees now and just recognizing that the wisdom that they hold and the healing that they hold. And there are studies that are showing that just walking in the trees, the oxygenation and whatever else that they're emitting is healing what's ailing our physical bodies.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely more than just potting some plants in the spring and going to the beach a few times, like just really trying to be out, touching and communing and breathing it all in.
Right.
So far.
And it's not just relegated to summer.
Right.
But to be out in all of the elements, and sometimes we don't want to go out on a rainy day. We'll sit and look out the window and say, oh, I don't want to go out there. But then once we get out there, the air is fresh and it's actually quite a lovely experience to go walking outside in the rain or the snow or the cold, to be able to truly experience life in that unstructured way.
Yeah. And I love now the knowing that Father Sky is working with Mother Earth and how the two of them, are interacting. Maybe say a few things about that, especially with rain.
Yes. Well, yes, it is the symbology, right? That I use is that, Earth Mother and Sky Father are partners, right? Just like men and women, we are partners. And I like to say that is their lovemaking that creates life, because Earth Mother the waters from Earth Mother will go up in evaporation into Sky Father, and Sky Father will energize and oxygenize and clean all of that water and bring it down and give it back to her. And it's a symbiotic relationship between Earth Mother and Sky Father, and that's how life is. That's how life is created, and we are a part of that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool to think about how things that are going on in our life are happening in all these different types of dimensions and realities and landscapes.
Yeah, well, and then there's Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, and how it all comes in, how the science of it, just the gravitational pull of the moon calls to the tides of the earth and the tides of women. And we are all a part of nature in such an intrinsic way. And because we don't live outside anymore, because we don't live in a teepee or a wood house with no electricity, and we're not a part of the earth anymore. That the concept of being one with the earth and being a part of that isn't something that we think about. We're totally protected from it in so many ways, and with central heating and all of that we don't think about it being such an intrinsic and important part of this makeup, of the makeup of this body.
Yeah. You like to say that we live in boxes.
We do.
Our
We live in
house is a
boxes.
box. Our car is a box.
Yeah.
Our work is a box. The store is a box.
Yeah, we go from box to box to box, and then we walk on concrete,
Oh, it's so sad to think about.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at.
Well, it is. And so I think, that's one part of the quest process, is that we spend time outside. We spend, when we get together for a sweat lodge, we're outside all day. And of course, when we go on quest, we're outside for 5 days and 4 nights, and sleeping on the ground, and being, by that time, people are pretty comfortable with that for the most part.
So let's bring it back to the actual culmination of Quest, which is the 5-night solo journey. And I think this is something that everybody always is most interested to hear about is, can you be too old or too young for it? Can I really do it and be out on my own? Is it scary? I've never done anything like that before. I would love for you to speak to the personal empowerment aspect of what it means to complete this.
Well, there certainly is that. And, I've had people in their 20s and people in their 70s that have come to Vision Quest, by the way. But yes, I've had people who are accomplished hikers, and people who have never spent any time outside at all, particularly outside alone in the woods, because this is a solo thing. And there's a lot of trepidation about that in the beginning. And we do a lot to help to ease the mind and calm the mind and make sure that, that people are going to be safe out in the wilderness. And we haven't lost a quester yet, just to know that.
That's right.
And one of the most exciting things, I think, is the last day when people have done their work, because they're out there working. They're not just out there meditating or twiddling their thumbs or trying to figure out what they're going to do for 5 days. They have a process. Every person has a personally devised process by their mentor, either myself or DeSono, that is going to help them to accomplish what it is that their soul has been asking for. So they're busy out there working in all kinds of weather, whether it's rain and wind or sun and heat. But the very last day, the most exciting thing and the most anticipated thing is when they come out of quest. And Diana and I always stand with our drums and we welcome back. But the look on the faces when they come back is pure, unadulterated joy and pride and excitement. And yes, it's hard. Sometimes they come back, say, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. And I did it, right? And I know a lot of them have said, if I can do that, I can do anything.
Absolutely.
I am absolutely prepared for what life has for me. And it's the most thrilling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a posture shift,
Yes,
right? Like you
absolutely.
carry yourself differently after that.
Mhm. And I have to say that everyone looks younger when they come out than they did when they went in.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing thing. Yeah.
What a thing to just like what that actually means to have a more youthful face in terms of what has been shed
Yes.
and let go and integrated in those ceremonies. It's just, and everything is so individualized and personalized specifically to you. I will say, if anybody is curious, yes, there is water. Yes, there is very special, specific food that you bring with. This is not a total fasting thing for 5 days. Everything is very intentional and planned, and there's a lot of reassurance, like you said. So,
yeah. Well, it's not a survival thing, right? I think sometimes, people might think that you're just going out into the wilderness and figuring out how you're going to survive for 5 days. And it's not about that. It truly is a journey within. It's a journey in soul. There's comfort involved. We don't want people to be too cold. We want people to have a certain amount of comfort and so that they can do their work. We don't want people, just shivering or they're not
Setting
getting
them up
to
for
be able to
success.
get some sleep or, to have sustenance and water, because it's not about that. It's really about what has brought you to quest and being able to accomplish what you stepped into this process to accomplish.
Yeah. It's life-changing. And I brought a picture of me walking out of my very first 5-day quest. Let's see if you can see that. Look how happy I am. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did it. And I will tell you, that was a record heat wave. Remember that?
Yes, I do. I remember that.
I had to walk through a river to get out that wasn't there when I walked in because the glacier had melted.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever experienced that before.
No. Yeah.
But it all worked out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So any closing statements that you'd like to share or invitations or just anything else you'd like to leave the listeners with?
Mhm. Well, I guess I would say that if any of what we've talked about has called to you, if there is a longing in your soul that you haven't been able to meet yet, if there is a healing that you've gone everywhere and done everything, trying to find a way to feel better about yourself, about your life, then I would invite you to reach out to me and see if this process is something that you are called to do.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So again, you can find her at kanechawa@gmail.com, and that's in the show notes. And you can find me at alignedenergyhealing.com. You can book a call. I would love to talk to you about whatever's going on in your life, whether you're looking for healing or coaching or just want to share stories and connect. I welcome all of that. So thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to catching you the next
And
time.
I just want to say too that if you really want to experience spinal flow, I would highly recommend you doing her daily the workshop. I've been getting spinal flow from this woman, and it's a pretty amazing process. So
Thank you.
absolutely,
Thank
yeah.
you. May 31st, Gig Harbor, full day healing immersive. That'll be my jumping off point before I start doing 4-day and 7-day retreats. So we're going to do the full day first. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe in you.
Oh, thank you, honey. All right. Blessings, and I will talk to you soon, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Aligned Energy, where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. This is Manon.
And I'm Dr. Pat.
Join us for more inspiration to step into your power and reconnect with your inner wisdom. Be sure to tune in every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. I invite you to like and subscribe to Aligned Energy with Manon on your favorite platform. And if you're ready to go deeper, visit alignedenergyhealing.com to book a healing or coaching session or schedule a complimentary discovery call. Until next time, stay aligned, stay empowered, and embrace the energy that is uniquely yours. See you next time.